Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. What is it? 36 or so hours later and the debate still goes on and on as to who won that fight. Like, the people are still debating. I went on to Twitter and I saw discussions that descended into arguments where people were putting their points across. People were posting scorecards, people were posting punch stats. Someone even put up a picture of Bivel and Beterbiev before the fight and Bivel and Beterbiev after. And we're like, look at Bivel's face. He clearly lost, as though that's the way to score a fight. But ultimately, boxing won. That's the real answer, right? Boxing won. We've been waiting for this fight for the best part of 2 years. And look, not only did we get it, but it delivered. Sometimes you can wait and wait and wait, like we did for Floyd Manning, and that was just rubbish. You wait for this and you're thinking, please let it deliver. Let the styles not have clash, but the styles gel. And they gelled. So ultimately, boxing won. I guess with the, if you like, semi-controversial scorecard, the 116, 112, and all the debate after, I guess we're going to see it again. Like, both fighters will want it again. Promoters will want it again. The broadcasters will certainly want it again. I'm guessing it did okay numbers. Turkey, the most important person in this equation, seems to want it again. So we'll get it again, right? And we'll get it again very, very soon. I think we'll get it again next. And by next, I mean, I think we'll get it again. I think there's a Riyadh season event in March. I wouldn't be shocked if these guys turn around that quick and go in March. And I think that'll be fantastic. One thing I do want to... oh, by the way, I still had it 7-5 Bivel. I've watched it 3 times now, and I had it 7-5 Bivel. The reason I watched it again is because a few people that I respect in the sport of boxing sent me over their scorecards, but specifically sent me the rounds that they thought Beterbiev won. And I went back and watched those rounds. And those were the swing rounds. Those were the rounds where I think Bivel does more of the work for longer. So Bivel wins the round for 2 minutes, and then Beterbiev knocks his head back with a jab and a body shot and wins the round for a minute. Who gets that round? For me, it's the guy that did the most work for the longest amount of time. But if you're a judge and you sat there ringside and you see Bivel's head get knocked back and you see him on the back foot, I can kind of understand how you'll swing to Beterbiev. But I gave those rounds to Bivel, hence why I had it 7-5, hence why they had it 7-5 Beterbiev. I'm not upset. I'm not upset by it. Even watching it back, the 116, 112, it's not outrageous. Like, you know, all those cries of robbery, stop. I mean, because what happens, it's almost like the crying wolf thing. Let's cry a robbery when it is a robbery, right? And it needs to be investigated and we need to see judges held accountable. Let's not cry a robbery when it really isn't one. Because then when we do scream robbery, no one's going to listen to us because like, oh, wait, you said robbery last time when it really wasn't. I do want to talk about Beterbiev and how I think he's a machine, because he is. What I do want to quickly address is the constant moaning about the show in between the co-main and main. So the Missy Elliott, Ciara and Busta Rhymes thing. Stop. Honestly, look, I get it, right? It's easy for me to say because I'm in the arena and I look at it like a concert and I enjoyed it. If you're at home, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, just get on with it. And I kind of understand it. But, I mean, if all you have to do is wait an extra 30 minutes to get the fight you've been waiting for 2 years, suck it up. Suck it up. Like and I'm sure a lot of you, if you're a hardcore boxing fan, you would have waited up till 5, sometimes 6 in the morning if you live in the UK for some of these American cards. So the idea of moaning about a half an hour pause, that's all it is for a fight that we've been waiting for 2 years. I'll take it. I'll take it. If someone says to me, Ada, you know what, I'll give you Bivel Beterbiev, but you're going to have to wait about 30 minutes from the co-main to the main. Fucking, what do I have to give you to agree to this? Right? So I feel like the moaning about it just, it's almost like, and I moan a lot. My mum says I moan a lot, but some of the complaining, I'm like, fucking just go and make yourself a cup of tea or pour yourself a bottle of Jack Daniels, a glass, and chill. You know, worst case scenario, set your alarm, have a little snooze, and then wake up for something we've been waiting for, again, for 2.5 years. That we wouldn't have got if it wasn't for Riyadh season, because no one was willing to pay these guys what they wanted. So I just find like the moaning for moaning's sake just needs to stop. Like, I get moaning for other stuff. Drug cheats, keep moaning. Right? Fighters avoiding each other, keep moaning. Promoters not working with each other, keep moaning. A half an hour pause from co-main to main, stop moaning. Honestly, stop moaning. That's my take on it. Again, it's easy for me to say this because number one, I'm at these events, so I'm seeing these concerts live, and I guess the atmosphere in the arena can't be replicated at home, and I get all of it. But again, if it takes Turkey wanting to put a concert between co-main and main to deliver us fights that we've been waiting for years that couldn't happen before, fuck me, do an hour concert. I don't care. Just give me what I've been waiting for years. All right, let's talk about Beterbiev the Machine. This guy's frightening. This guy is frightening. I watched that fight back, and if you were to have told me, if I was a guy from Mars and I didn't know the ages of each fighter, and you would have told me that that guy there is a 39-year-old coming off knee surgery, I would have said you're mad. I would have said it's impossible. Honestly, I would have said it's impossible. Like, for the first couple of rounds, I was actually watching him just to see if there was going to be any buckle in the legs. Nothing. Zero. I mean, how he's done that just amazes me. Yes, there's living the life, and he clearly does that. But I just think some people are built differently. I really do believe that. We're not all built the same. I think some people are built differently. And this guy has been fucking carved from rock. Because he might be, I'm trying to think of the scariest fighters in my lifetime. Golovkin, Kovalev. He might be scarier than both of those guys. And those guys were scary. I mean, I remember Nathan Cleverly saying when Kovalev hit him, it felt like he was getting hit with a baseball bat. I remember that clearly. And I remember what people used to say about Golovkin. I think those things can apply to Beterbiev. I think he is just hard as nails. And what makes me even more impressive when you watch the fight is that it's him pushing the pace. Like, he didn't slow down. Even when Bivel decided to, and I said Bivel's going to need to do this, when Bivel decided to stand and trade and try and land some heavy shots, and he did, he just kept on walking. Imagine how demoralizing that is. Bivel's not Paulie Malignaggi. Bivel can hit, right? He can hit a bit. Again, he's not a power puncher. That's not his thing, but he can crack when he sits on his shots. And he cracked Beterbiev, and Beterbiev ate them and kept on walking. There was a time in that fight where Bivel landed a great shot. It was a great 1-2 down the pipe. It might have even been it might have been a combination. I think it was a 1-2 down the pipe, and then he might have finished with a hook. And Beterbiev, for the first time ever, stumbled back into the ropes. And Bivel thought, okay, I've got you. And then Beterbiev just cracked him with a jab. And for the next minute of that round, Beterbiev just beat up Bivel. So you've landed your best shot. The guy has stumbled back. You think, okay, it's time. This is what I've been waiting for. So all of a sudden, for the next minute, you can't breathe because he's on you like a rash. That's demoralizing. It really is. Every punch has mean intentions. Bivel did a good interview with Fight Hub, and they're trying to explain Beterbiev's power. And I think people have taken it the wrong way because he was asking, does Beterbiev hit harder than Canelo? And what Bivel was trying to say is that Canelo hits harder because Canelo really goes for it in every fucking shot. Like that one punch, Canelo's trying to fucking take your head off from back here. And he was like, Bivel's not even trying to do that, and you can feel him. Like, Bivel's not loading up, and it's still like, ow, 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 ow. It's crazy. His output is crazy. It's crazy. And, you know, there'll be some that have only jumped onto Beterbiev in the last few years. You know what's scary about a lot of these Europeans with massive amateur records is that they probably come to us when they're past their athletic prime. But this isn't prime Beterbiev by any stretch of the imagination. It's crazy to think that. I remember thinking that about Golovkin. Like, Americans didn't see Golovkin prime, Germany did. And I feel like Americans didn't see Beterbiev athletic prime. They haven't seen it, it's done. But look at what he's still capable of doing. Honestly, I just think he's I think he's unbelievable. I really do. I think the way in which he makes fighters just do what he wants them to do. Like, Bivel is a front foot fighter. And what I mean by that, obviously you guys will know, but some of you that don't, let me educate you a little bit. Bivel will be the one that's pushing the action. Bivel is the one that's pushing you back. That's kind of how Bivel fights. Bivel maybe pushed Beterbiev back for a couple of rounds. 90% of that fight, Bivel's having to, and look, credit to Bivel, by the way. That guy is having to fucking pull out everything from his tool bag. Like, okay, this one next, just to evade and avoid and slip and slide and hook and, oh my God, Bivel literally is doing everything. And it's still not enough to keep him off. I think he's unbelievable. I really do. I think he causes any light heavyweight problem that I've seen in the last 25 years, any of them. I'm not saying he beats them all. Because I know people will jump on and Roy Jones and Andre Ward. I think he beats Andre Ward, by the way, but Roy Jones, and I think he beats them all. Oh, sorry, I think he competes with them all, and I think he beats a lot of them. It would be interesting to actually do a video on that, which ones he does beat. But I think there's going to be a time where he gets to you, and it's what do you do when he gets to you? Or if you are a Kovalev, you know, the Kovalev fight would have been so interesting. The others, maybe not so, because they're going to have to really work. It's going to be very similar to Bivel, right? But the Kovalev one would have been interesting because Kovalev can punch. And it would have been nice to have seen him in there against someone that maybe he feared their power. That there was times in that fight where it's clear he didn't respect Bivel's power and was like, okay, if this is what it is, let me walk through you. I'm going to walk through you. And there ain't nothing you can do. There ain't nothing you can do. And his size is an intimidating factor as well. Again, you think of some of the best 175ers in the last 20 years, and a lot of them are guys coming up. Hopkins coming up, Andre Ward coming up, Joe Calzaghe coming up. Like, a lot of them are guys coming up, you know. That motherfucker's coming down. That motherfucker is coming down to the weight and then gets in the ring 200 pounds plus easily. So he's one of the biggest light heavyweights of recent years as well. So, yeah, look, I just wanted to give him his plaudits. I think he's sensational. I think this tag of him just being a puncher is bullshit. This guy's a boxer puncher. The way he kept resetting his feet, and by resetting his feet, he kept offsetting Bivel. So Bivel's like, oh my God, I've got to reset. He kept on doing that all night. He comes in like that. He's not coming in like that either. He deserves so much plaudits. He does, as does Bivel, obviously. But I wanted to be fair because you guys know I'm already team Bivel and I'm pro Bivel. Like everything's Bivel. But I've got to give credit to Beterbiev. I really do. I think he's pound for pound number 4. I've seen some people say, come on, Ade, Bam is. I think he's pound for pound number 4. I do. It's not Bam's fault, but I do think Bam's kind of, apart from Sonny Edwards, Bam's taken out the old guard, hasn't he? He's taken out the old guard, like, you know, obviously Estrada, Quadras, Rangbasai. They're all the old guard that he's destroyed. We need some new flesh, some young flesh. Guys that are not on the way out, whereas I think that's what Bam's done. And look, by the way, I think Bam's sensational. I think Bam's a top 6 pound for pounder, but I think Beterbiev in becoming undisputed and beating a prime Bivel, I think you've got to. Like, I think a lot of people even sleep on the Vosdik win. Like Vosdik, fantastic amateur, had, you know, sent Adonis Stevenson into retirement. Remember that fight, which was brutal. And then he had the A fight, and then he fought Beterbiev, and no one wanted to fight Beterbiev. And up until the knockdown where he just couldn't keep up, and Beterbiev was swarming him, he was up on a couple of scorecards. That's a really good win. I think people are sleeping on that win. The Callum Smith win's a solid win because, I mean, I think us Brits got very excited about Callum Smith because Callum Smith at light heavyweight looked like a bit of a killer, didn't he, under Buddy McGurk? I mean, he was demolishing people. Someone was like, okay, Callum Smith's got a chance to destroy him. I mean, Anthony Yard's a tough one because we don't know where Anthony Yard is, right? You don't know if Anthony Yard is, you know, the 3rd best light heavyweight in the world. We have no idea because we haven't seen him have those fights against fellow top guys. But the way in which Anthony Yard kind of grew in confidence and he shut that confidence down. I fucking love him. I love him, honestly. He's one of my favorite fighters and I respect him like the utmost because for him to make Bivel work like that, blood. Crazy.